for Kaapo, and what how that kind of sets up you guys for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go through everything there. I mean, I do want to start with just a thank you to Jake Middleton, and just to reemphasize his story that he was a player who was a last round draft pick of a deep team, and he wasn't signed, so he came to us on a tryout. And he played well, and he earned an American League contract, and went and played well in that Western Conference team we had a few years ago, and ended up earning an NHL contract, and spent lots of time, leadership, everything else in the American League, and worked his way up to the Sharks, and within the Sharks room, became a very valuable member of our team. It's like the consummate hockey story. Everybody here, as an organization, every single person on the staff and players thinks the world of Mids, and just wants to really thank him for what he's done, and he'll be missed. And so we went into this deadline here not really going out and shopping him per se, but he was a player that teams wanted at the deadline. So like we said last week, I'll listen. And listened, and there were quite a few kind of toes in the water here with different things, and I really wanted something that, number one, it was kind of at a targeted position for us, and number two, that it's not necessarily too far out into the future, so that we can get some use moving forward, so that we're we don't take too much of a step back on there. And we actually got both, because if you line up Kaapo and Jake side by side, they're about the same age, about the same experience. They're both up and coming at their positions. And with us, you guys have all seen the issues we've had at times with injuries and things like that at goaltending. Our defense depth actually started by the first COVID outbreak we had, when we recalled Ryan Merkley, recalled Milosh, recalled Jacob Megna. We found that the depth was very good, and at times when we're all healthy, it's 8-9, quality D, NHL type D, and so that's one position we have some strength at. So we looked at it. We don't have that depth at the goaltending position like this. So we took out of a little bit deeper group of D, and went into a little lighter group of goaltending, and that's that really drove our decision.
Can you say what the status is of Aiden Hill? Obviously, he's out right now, and is he out long term, or what can you say about where he's at right now?
Yeah, it's defined as day to day. It's nothing serious. It's more of a chronic type of thing that just trying to get over a hump with with this lower body injury, and so with that. You don't want to make something worse by just trying to rush it, so we're giving it the time it needs. And sometimes, we've seen we go in and we hope that everything's better, but what we don't want to do, it doesn't do us any good to try and push them into this, push them into playing, because it just, I guess if we're in a playoff situation, playoff series or something like that, you look at different measures, but on this, you certainly don't really want to take a step back, and so you want them to heal right and be 100%, and that's what we're trying to do with Aiden. So I think it's a matter of days to a few weeks, of everything I know.
So do you anticipate having, like, when Aiden is healthy, having 3 goalies on the active roster?
Could happen. Hasn't happened since January, and that was part of it. It could, but do I anticipate anything? I don't. All I know right now is since January we've had basically one of our big two out consistently, and it goes back to just the depth here. But the other thing about Kaapo, it wasn't anything just to address what's going on now with injuries. It's really about looking forward. We had an opportunity to acquire a 25-year-old up-and-coming goaltender, and that's a player that we looked at quite extensively, through expansion last year, because in looking at Talbot and Kahkonen, we're looking at all these opportunities that maybe we could acquire guys in trades, or maybe that Seattle could, or whatever within there. And so we looked at that market extensively. We weren't really able to do anything at that point in time. We've kept our eye on him, and now is opportunity to acquire him.
Thank you.
Corey?
Hey, Joe.
Hi, Corey.
Do you anticipate going into next season with all three of these goalies on your roster?
Do I anticipate? No, you rarely do with going into three goalies, but it's just an opportunity to kind of play out. This is we still have a quarter of the season left to play, and like a lot of other things that we have, things will be fluid in the summer. So it's at this position, at our group of forwards and our group of defensemen, there will be changes. I don't know exactly what they are, but that's I guess what we'll determine. Number one, by watching players over the next quarter of the season, and number two, with opportunities that we may have in the summer.
And you guys haven't signed Alex Barabanov, and he wasn't traded. I'm just wondering what you sort of see the future for him in San Jose.
Yeah, I've attempted. I've been in contact with the agent. We have till July 13th to sign him. So it's looking at that, he's an important part of our team. He's scored well this year. So we're just kind of playing out the process. He hasn't played a lot of games in his NHL career, and we'll gather even more information over the next quarter of the season. So it's we're just continuing the process with him. We've been kicking tires with the agent for a little bit here, but there's no hurry on our part, and we want to keep this team going. Like I said, we're not looking just to unload players. We're looking to have a direction, and within the direction here is just to keep it going with him, keep kicking tires on what this could mean for the future.
So like Jake Middleton, you guys had further control with him, obviously, as long as he played enough games. Were there other guys like? There have been reports about James Reimer, Nick Bonino. Were there other guys that were under control that teams called on?
Teams called about a lot of our players, but that's what happens on this. If you took everything, it's just a big web of conversations that where you get into a lot of players with a lot of teams, and so they ask. I think this one here was the Middleton one. Specifically was our most serious by far. The rest were kind of kicking tires on different things, and part of it too is like you still have a quarter of the season to play, so you're keeping your team together. You're having the right team. There's going to be some recalls here of a couple of guys from the minors, and they're going to come back in. They're going to have a little bit more opportunity to play, but they're going to have opportunity to play with some better players too that we have on the roster. So it's like a balance. We moved Andrew Cagliano, who I'd like to really thank as well. He's a consummate pro, and he's moving on to Colorado and into a situation. I talked to him. He's very happy. He's bittersweet. He really did enjoy his experience here, but he has the opportunity now to compete on one of the top contenders in the league, and go and get a cup and he's on an expiring contract. So that's one player we can. Expiring contract, we can get a fifth-round pick and replenish that grid in that particular year, 2024, and at the same time, I think that was about it. We start moving any other players, and then we're kind of down to a level of the performance and everything else. It's a nice group now for these young players to develop in.
Thank you.
Shane?
Hey Joe, this is
Hi, Shane.
I apologize, I'm at the airport, you can hear that, but anyway, wondering first, was there an attempt to try to, like you guys did last year, to try to buy draft picks, take on salary? It didn't seem like there was much of a market in that this year though.
Yeah, it is. I haven't seen any yet, and then but there are still quite a few trades in the queue. I talked to about 3 or 4 teams. We actually got pretty far in the discussions, and then their trades blew up. So the way those go is we're a willing party. we know what the market is. The market, we've actually gotten a fourth round pick for a significant retention, and I kind of said it's a 4, 5, 6 generally, depending on the significance of the retention as far as cash and cap and the market. And so, I felt we were at a few good spots. I helped some teams, like I pre-agreed to a few retention deals, and their trades blew up. So that's what happened in my particular instance this year. Last year, we ended up with 3, but on this year, I had 3 or 4 that we prearranged, and all the deals blew up. So it'll be interesting to see if they come down as trades keep being announced.
And you mentioned there's a lot of trades in the queue. If you guys have anything left today, I guess the last deal that was announced was the Potato Berkeley. I don't know if anything else beyond that.
Yeah, we have a very similar trade, a player-for-player minor league trade. I'm not going to give the names because the deal is not finalized yet. Guys are just primarily minor league guys, but it's just a position swap to kind of fill in, some of the other things that we did today. So just waiting for that, and they told me, it'd be. I don't know, about half an hour ago, they said it'd be over an hour. So we're going to go out to the airport and hopefully get that done. And but if I'm waiting here too, the rest of the league is on there. So they said they had quite a few deals.
Have you ever seen a kind of jam up in the registry like this?
Yeah, it is, because I mean, there's so many. There's so many pieces of the trades right now. It's not just agreeing to the to some of the return as far as picks and players go. It's really just a matching up of cash, and there's more and more of that. So it drags out on the deals, and so it just that's really the big thing now. And the deals are more complicated from a league position, when you have to go and teams are in LTI and right at the cap and going out and in of LTI and such. So they have a lot of checking to do. So they do a great job at the league of doing that. And again too, on this call, I want to give a shout out to the staff too. We had a war room going today, and it was led by Assistant GM Tim Burke and his staff of Doug Wilson Jr., Neil McKinney, and Chris Boucher were in there working today.
Guys, we can maybe take a couple more questions here, then
And Shin Larson too. Shin Larson came in from Sweden.
take a few more from Joe here, and then we'll probably have to get heading towards the airport. Anything follow up from Curtis or Corey?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Hey, do you anticipate Potato going to Calgary?
No, he's not. He's probably coming in tomorrow. But with the injuries to Ferraro and Nishoff, and then with Mids going out, and he's played almost 200 NHL games, so he'll have some good depth for us, and plus he's on a two-way contract, and already he was an assistant captain in Hartford. We know Potato well, so he'll come in. He'll be good in the Barracuda, and then he'll be ready to come up if need be. But yeah, and I don't know if we have all the assignments out. We're catching up on things like that, but Ryan Merkley is going on this trip.
Okay.
Yep.
And so Simic will be like a sixth defenseman then against.
Yeah, Simic is activated, and then Ryan Merkley is there, so that's going to be our 7.
Can you maybe was there any update on Jonathan Dolan or Matt Nieto?
Yeah, I think on Dolan, I think we dodged a bullet. They did a CT scan, and I believe it was pretty clear. It was it was a traumatic injury, but I don't they're looking to see for broken bones and structural damage and things like that. I think we dodged a bullet there, so I think there's some soft tissue and things like that, but I don't think it'll be that long. I think they're talking a matter of days rather than weeks in that case. And Matt Nieto's not going to make the trip, but he's still kind of listed as game to game. He had a laceration, so we're just waiting for that to heal up. So those are short term. Again, updates on the other guys. Kevin Lebank is again, he's rehabbed really well. It's just a matter of getting that final sign off from the doc and the rehab people on that. So that's getting closer every day on Banker coming back. Kanishov, it actually he's at a pretty good spot. He went through a lot of the things he went through right now are in the past, and he right now he's just focusing on his latest surgery, his second surgery, and which is kind of classified as a relatively minor procedure. So if everything goes well with that, we'll see when we could get him on the ice. There's no timetable, but we're working on that. And Mario, you see him right now as you see him, he's walking around. It looks like he could be on a dance floor right now. So he looks great, but he that needs to heal. So it's not anything imminent with him, but he's doing fine in his his rehab.
What do you guys really like about Kaapo? I mean, I know you mentioned obviously he's only 25, coming into his own here, but just as far as his style of play, what do you guys really like about him?
Like that he follows the puck extremely well. We when we go like really slow motion frame by frame, we see how ready he is for shots, how he can get across and laterally and be ready for shots. That's one thing that really stands out. So he's got speed and awareness in that regard. He also has a level of experience that we've liked. It's not a flash in the pan. He goes through. You see everything. He's got winning and accolades and statistical achievements and things like that at every level he's been at all the way through. And so, 25 years old, he's just ascended properly at a nice scale and nice consistency throughout his career, and had a couple of solid years in Minnesota, and so it was just an opportunity for us to get him, and Nabby signed off amongst many others that we collaborated with, but Nabby's excited to have him in the fold and work with him.
And there's no issue with him going to Calgary, going to Canada tomorrow, I guess, today.
No, I don't think so. I think we're looking at that. I think there's a flight later tonight, so we're actually, if we can, we're trying to get him in tonight. It's just COVID testing was the only thing. I don't think there's any immigration or anything like that, as far as I know. I think it's just getting the COVID test, getting the flight, and actually getting in there. So we might beat him by a little bit, but hopefully you can just catch up with us later tonight.